Hello, my name is Yash Dori, and this is the video for CS441 Homework 2. And before we get started, I just want to show you my costume because today is Halloween. I am supposed to be James from Team Rocket, hence the big red R, and I have Trusty Meowth accompanying me today. So let's get started. Um, so here's my information. I am part of option one. Uh, and um, First, I go over design in this README, but I'm going to skip over that for sake of time. So we're going to move on to installation instructions. You're going to need to install Java, Scala, Hadoop, SBT, and Olama Desktop. Some of these parameters like Scala, Java are within the build.sbt. Um, so leave those as such. And you can probably get away with using different versions. I list the versions that I use specifically, but um, yeah. So make sure they're installed and configured correctly, and make sure everything is correctly added to path. Super important for things to work. So we also need to run a couple commands to set the Olama host variable. You're going to want to run either this or this. If you're on Linux or Mac OS, go ahead and run this command. Otherwise, if you're on Windows, run this command. Also want to clone the repository and cd into it, change to the directory. Git clone, the repository URL, and cd, that pretty standard stuff. We're going to need an embedding model on Olama for this, so make sure you have one. If you don't have one, get one from Olama versus via Olama poll and then the model name. If you don't have one in mind, you can find one on this link. To run the program, we're going to want to put the corpus directory on Hadoop file system. I'm just going to show you how it works with just two PDFs. But you can obviously run it with the entire corpus. So we do that. We're going to want to put them on Hadoop. So first you want to create the directory with this command. I'm going to put them in the small corpus directory, kind of mirroring, oops, my bad, spelled that wrong. Mirroring my local copy. Um, So now I want to copy the PDFs to the one folder on Hadoop. So I will do that here, and there we go. Sorry, little mistake. Gets tripped up sometimes, even me, but don't worry about it. But you can always try again. So now if we look on the small corpus directory, sorry, there we go. Ah, missed the DFS. Again, not super used to it. But there we go. Small corpus directory now has these two PDFs I have uh, in here. So we've done that, but now you probably want to modify application.config. It kind of looks like this. At the minimum, I'd say if your directory on Hadoop doesn't match it, you want to probably change this. And then there's the output directories. If you don't really mind, you can leave it as the ones that they have. If your core site.xml configuration is different than the standard, which is what I have here, then you want to change those, as well as probably these URIs. And then the model version slash hash here, as well as the name. I'm just using this. I highly doubt you're using the same one, so you want to change that. The rest you can look at, change if you feel like it, otherwise leave it. So we're going to want to have Olama open. So either open a terminal, run Olama serve in it, and then leave that terminal open, or you can have Olama desktop open. I already have it open. And then we're going to generate a build. So run sbt clean compile. Should take a couple seconds for me. And then we can run it. So let's do that. So what this is going to do is because I do not have an index already, As you saw, my Hadoop was kind of empty. It's going to create an index with these two documents that I put, and then output a little summary at the end. Just a moment. As I can show you, there's a good amount of logging in here. These logs are also stored um, under a certain directory. We'll get to that later. So it's done. We have 528 rows, correspond one row chunk per row. Uh, two documents total. Two of them were new. Did skip any because we didn't have any. No deduplication and other metrics. So now we're gonna run it again without changing anything. See that nothing has changed. No, it didn't reprocess the documents, the PDFs, and yeah, because that's a pretty important part of this homework. Sorry, I had to pause for a second. There were some trick-or-treaters after it all. Today is Halloween. So I finished running pretty quickly, as you can see. 16 versus, I forget whatever the previous one is. With two documents, none of them changed. Skip two of them, and the duplication ratio is 100 because, of course, it is. We didn't change anything, so that's good and dandy. Now we're going to add a document. I have one here that I just chose randomly. I will put that on Hadoop. Let's see. I believe I placed it under small corpus. So I'll put it in the same folder. And then I'm going to run it again, sbt run, and we'll see that those two documents we had previously were not changed or reprocessed. Were not reprocessed because they did not change, but we added a one document, so it's going to add it. As you can see, change new doc count is one, blah, 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 extracting the chunks from it, and more things. We'll wait for it to finish. Almost done. As you see, three documents total. Only one changed. We skipped two. Now we have more rows. And deduplication, 2/3, of course, as well as the other statistics. So that is all good. And so now I'll just finish over the README because kind of went over all the important functionality. Um, so, as we said, there's the documents table under this directory. By the way, these are assuming you didn't change the parameters here. If you did, it'll just be under whatever you put. And then chunks table under chunks. Um, embeddings table under blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. Delta log is pretty important. Shows the kind of like history. It's called logs after all. Um, and console logs you saw here, and then there's a logback logs under whatever your path to Hadoop installation, under logs, user logs, blah, blah, blah. Pretty important stuff. Skip over that, because that I will fill out after this, haha. Testing can run the Scala test with this command. Oops, that is not the correct thing. And that should be relatively quick. While it's going, I'll show you repository structure. Got source, main, resources. We got the config and then logback. We got the Scala code here, and then under test we have the test code. Then there's build, SBT, and the README. So you can see we had 13 tests, ran pretty quickly. All were a success. Very nice. And then credits used some cool open source. Um, as well, not non-open, not open source. It's a cool software, Spark, Delta Lake, PDF Box for extracting the text, Lingua for language detection, which is also there uh, in the tables and logs. Uh, Other awesome things. And then all of this is based off of the concepts we discuss in lecture, as well as the very helpful instructions in the README. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time for the final and third homework.